One of the first things we learn in the clinch over-under position is how to pummel. My goal is to get both of my arms around my opponent's waist while I'm taking an angle and break his posture. I'm pummeling, take an angle, break his posture. I pummel with my opponent. I keep a strong, solid underhook while I slide my arms in, connect my hand palm to palm, and break my opponent's posture with a forward pressure. Sometimes when I pummel and I get my two underhooks, I try to break my opponent's posture, but I find out that he's too strong. So I have to sweep him from the bottom using my hips and my legs. Pummeling, take an angle, two underhook, using my hips to sweep him. I pummel with my opponent. I keep a strong, solid underhook. I pummel in. Then I use my leg and the power of my hips to throw him down. Sometimes when I pummel and I find myself in a very deep double underhook on my opponent, he just releases his arm and gives me his back. So I have to follow and time his footstep in order to sweep him down. I'm pummeling, two underhook, but he releases his arm. I have to time his footstep in order to put him down. I pummel with my opponent. I keep a strong underhook. I slide my arms in. Then I take his back. As we walk, I time his step and sweep his leg with the arch of my foot. Sometimes when I pummel, I find myself into a deep double underhook position. But my opponent releases his arm and does not try to run away from me. He stays there. So what I do is I hook the leg and throw him forward to the floor. I pummel, two underhook, release the arm, hook the leg, throw him to the floor. I pummel with my opponent, keep a solid, strong underhook, slide my arms in, take his back. I throw my opponent down with a forward pressure, putting my knee near his toes, covering his hips. Sometimes when I pummel with my opponent, I'm able to get two underhooks in, and when I try to break his posture, he resists me. And then I shrug my shoulder and I take his back. When I take his back, I have a lot of options. So far we've seen putting a forward pressure on him, but sometimes it doesn't work. So when I can no longer go forward, I'm going backward. And as I'm going backward, I sweep his leg with the arch of my foot. We're pummeling. Try to break his posture. Then I go for the back as he's releasing his arm. I cannot no longer go forward because he's very strong as resisting me. Then I go backward as I'm sweeping his leg as I pull him towards me. I pummel with my opponent, keep a strong underhook, slide my arms in, shrug my shoulder, take his back. I pull him into my foot sweep using the arch of my foot. Sometimes when I pummel and I get myself into a deep double underhook, my opponent releases his arm, so I get his back. But when I go to take him down, it is impossible. So then I switch to striking. It is very important that you have a predetermined power striking combos. I'm pummeling. Get the ball on the hook. My opponent releases his arm. I try to put him down, but he's blocking me very well. I can't put him down. So then I decide to switch to striking. I hit him on the temple so he turns away. Hook, straight, kick, straight, hook, and I finish low with the leg kick. With Richard, I'm able to do it full force because he's wearing the equipment. Double on the hook. He's blocking me to take down. Hit him on the temple, he turns away. Hook, straight, kick, straight, hook, kick. Shrug my shoulder, take my opponent's back. Then I hit him with the hook on the temple that turns him into my hook, my straight, my kick, straight, hook, and I finish with my kick to keep a good distance. Sometimes when I'm pummeling, I find myself in a situation that I got enough space to slip my head underneath my opponent's armpit while I'm pulling him by the tricep and hook his leg with my arm very deep. Then I can proceed with the takedown. This is called a fireman carry. I'm pummeling and then finish the takedown while I'm pulling him on top of me. While pummeling with my opponent, I decide to shoot with my knee behind his legs while pulling him by the tricep on top of me. Then I throw him down with the momentum of my body keeping control of his tricep. Sometimes when I'm in the middle of a pummeling situation, I can create space with a bump of my shoulder, take my head outside of the center line, and go with an elbow strike. While we're pummeling, we're always trying to go for a double underhook, but sometimes I like to create space, take my head outside the center line, and go with an elbow strike. I'm trying to always target either the chin, the point of the ear, the temple, or the eyebrow. Pummel with my opponent, bump my shoulder in his sternum to create space. Then I throw my elbow with my pinky finger up. From the over-under clinch position, sometimes I'm using some striking to bait him in a position where I can trap him. And that's what I'm gonna teach you right now. I'm in the over-under clinch position. I knee my opponent in his inner thigh to bait him to block the strike. Then I'm gonna collect his wrist and trap his arm here. To free my lead arm, I'm gonna turn my pinky up. I'm gonna shrug my shoulder and go with a short spike elbow on his eyebrow. The goal here is not to knock him out, but to cause a maximum of damage. When I'm ready to release his arm because it's strapped, I'm gonna follow up with a powerful elbow strike on his temple. Then that will lead him into my hook, cross, head kick, cross, hook, and I like to finish with the leg kick. I knee my opponent in his inner thigh, trap his arm, shrug my shoulder to throw my short elbow, big elbow, then I go with my predetermined striking combo exit. Each strike is made to lure my opponent into the next one. While pummeling, I always normally try to go for a double underhook, but this time I'm gonna create a frame instead. This will create enough space for me to go for a spinning elbow. It's a perfect attack that comes from outside of the field of vision of my opponent. We're pummeling, then I'm creating a frame instead of going for an underhook. This is a strike that comes outside of his field of vision and will take him by surprise. I create a frame across my opponent's neck, Then I spin with an elbow targeting his neck. When I pummel, we saw that sometimes I can create a frame to go with a spinning elbow. This is an attack that comes from upstairs and upstairs. Also, I can use a different kinds of attack, which is called a jumping spinning back kick. It's an attack that comes from downstairs and goes to the body and could be much more lethal. With pummeling, I'm creating the frame, but this time I'm going with a spinning attack, jumping, spinning back kick. Very important that before I land with my back kick, I try to bring my heel to my butt. I put a frame across my opponent's neck, jump backward, knees tight together, and I go with a spinning back kick. Clinch over-under position is one of the most common in the fight game. It is imperative for you to master this position to increase your odds of success in a fight. One of my favorite techniques in the over-under clinch position is my lead leg sasai. It is a very economical and low-risk technique. The key to this technique, though, is timing and precision. So I'm forcing my opponent to take a step, then I block the lowest part of his leg with the arch of my foot. One of my hand goes on his lat, the other one is posed on his hips. Then I'm taking a step as I'm pulling him. This time, though, while he's stepping, I'm gonna time his step and block his leg with the arch of my foot. I pull my opponent by the lat to making step, and I block his leg with the arch of my foot. One of my favorite techniques from the clinch over-under position is uraigoshi. I even use it in my third fight against Matt Hughes. But in order to be efficient, you need to set it up very well. What I do is, I pull my opponent by the lat and I'm taking a step. So then, the path is clear. I have the perfect angle to take my hips out, sweep his legs. I pull my opponent by the lat, take a big step in, and sweep his leg with the power of my leg and hips. Sometimes, when I try to go for oraigoshi, my opponent pushes hips forward to block me. Then I have to switch to uchigeri, which is an inside leg hook. When I make contact with his leg, with my leg, it is important it has to be in the lowest part as possible of his leg to make sure I have the leverage in my advantage. I'm creating an angle, go for oraigoshi, blocks, go for uchigeri. My opponent blocked me with his hips. I slide in, pull his leg with my leg, applying a forward pressure until he falls. One of my favorite ways to put my opponent down from the over-under clinch position is by using a knee tap. The way I'm doing it is I pull my opponent into a specific angle in which he leaves his legs in the way. When he does so, I'm having a clear path towards the direction that I want to go. And as I'm driving forward, I'm just collecting his leg. So I got Hussein in this position. I'm pulling him by the lat. When I pull him by the lat, you can see the path is clear here. So I'm going to drive towards that way while I'm pushing up in a 45-degree angle with my left arm and pulling his leg in the same time. I create an angle, run forward while throwing my arm up and collecting his knee. One of the great way to put your opponent down from the over-under clinch position is ouchigiri. Ouchigiri, it's a leg trip coming from the inside. The important thing to remember for this technique is how you set it up. You have to pull your opponent in a perfect position and use your hand in his inner leg to make it in a way that his legs stayed open. So first thing, I put the reverse part of my hand in his inner thigh. As I'm pulling him, I make sure I create a lot of space in between his leg in order to put my hooks in. Then I'm driving forward, reaching down for his leg at the same time to put more pressure until he falls. Pulling my opponent into an angle by keeping my arm in his inner thigh. Stepping in with a forward pressure, collecting his leg, hopping on my leg until he falls. In the over-under clinch position, sometimes when I try to trip my opponent's legs coming from the inside, it is impossible because the space is simply not there. When I cannot go inside, I have to try to go outside. The perfect technique for this is called a hip toss. So the way I'm setting it up is with my overhook. I'm pulling him with my overhook, and when he steps, I'm having the perfect setup to block his knee, step behind, and once that is done, it's very important that my chest stay connected with his chest and use the power of my hips while I'm throwing him always in the direction where I'm looking at. It is very important that I make sure that my chest stay connected to his chest. I pull my opponent into position with my overhook, step my knee outside of his knee, throw him with the power of my hips, staying connected chest to chest until the end. From the over-under clinch position, one of the great economical and low-risk way of putting my opponent down is by using a Greco-Roman trip. I'm in the over-under clinch position. Now, all in the same time, I'm gonna step in as deep as I can with my rear leg inside of his knee. I'm gonna bump my hips forward on his hips, and I'm gonna pull him down with my arm that I'm having a grip on his lat with. So I'm bumping him and throw him down in the same time. Most guys will fall on their back, but if I fight someone who has a lot of experience in combat, he will go on his knees. I step in between his leg while bumping his knees, pull him by the lat until he falls. Sometimes I find myself in a situation that I am in over-under clinch position with an opponent who's desperately trying to take me down by grabbing my legs. And I want to disconnect from this position. From the over-under, I'm gonna shrug my shoulder and free my arm by lifting my pinkies up. And then it is important that you have a predetermined, powerful striking combination. Mine is made of elbows and knees. He's grabbing my legs, spike elbows, I reach out the top of his head, knees, scissor knees, and as he's coming up, I welcome him with an elbow I lift the pinky finger of my underhooks up, bump my shoulder, take a step back to create space, short elbow, keep my opponent's head down while I knee, and I scissor knee. I release the head while throwing an elbow going down. Sometimes when I'm in the over-under clinch position, I try to disconnect, but my opponent holds me so tight that I can't free my lead arm. It's stuck underneath his armpit. So when that happens, I have to go for something else. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna reach across for his head as I'm stepping, bring his head down on the other side, and go with my favorite exit powerful strike combos. It's made of elbows and knees. I can't disconnect from him. So I'm reaching across, maintain his head down, knees, scissor knees, and as he's coming up, I welcome him with the elbow. I reach across for my opponent's head. I pull his head down while stepping back. Keep his head down, knees, scissor knees, and I release the head while throwing an elbow going down. From the over-under clinch position, one of the great ways to control my opponent is to use the collar tie grip. But there's a specific way to get to that point, and I will show it to you right now. From the over-under clinch position, I will reach across to grab my opponent's head. And as I'm doing so and I pull him, I'm stepping back. I'm gonna join my hand together, get a very deep underhook, and squeeze my elbow and keep my head stuck on the middle of his neck right here. This is very hard for Usain to do anything from there. He can't get away, he can't move. I'm having a great control. It's a perfect position to land efficient strike from here. So I'm gonna go with knees, knees. As I'm releasing him, I'm going with a spike elbow that will lower him into my predetermined power strike combo exit, which is hook, the cross, walking high kick, cross hook, and I like to finish with the leg kick. I reach across his head, pull him down while I'm stepping back, take a collar tie, elbows tight, head in the center, knees, knees. When I release him with a short elbow, then I follow up with my predetermined striking combo exit. Sometimes when I'm in the over-under clinch position, I'm fighting a guy who wants to disconnect from it. It's all good. I can use the element of surprise and have a head start by throwing him into my power striking combos. It is made of punches and kick. I'm stepping and throw him towards my hook. Straight, kick, straight, hook, and leg kick as I'm walking him down. Step sideways while throwing my opponent away with a slap hook into my predetermined striking combo exit. Sometimes when I try to disconnect from the over-under clinch position, my opponent keeps his underhooks in. So I have to duck underneath his arm, and then when I take his back, he decides to go away, and as he's walking away, I have to time his footstep in order to sweep the legs with the arch of my foot. I'm trying to disconnect, but he keeps his underhooks in. I duck under, then I time his footstep, and I sweep the legs. Try to disconnect, but my opponent keeps his underhook. I duck under and take his back. I time his footstep and sweep his leg with the arch of my foot. Sometimes when I try to break away from the over-under clinch position, my opponent keeps his underhooks in. Then I can always duck under, go for the back, but sometimes he doesn't try to walk away from me. He stays there. When that happens, I like to hook his leg and throw him forward to the floor. I take a step, I try to throw him into my strike, but he keeps his underhook. I duck under, then once I get his back, he doesn't move. I hook his leg, throw him to the floor. Try to disconnect, my opponent keeps his underhook. I duck under, take his back. I put my knee down to his toes and throw him down with the momentum of my body forward. When I'm in over-under clinch position, sometimes I want to make a striking exit, but my opponent keeps his underhooks in. I'm forced to duck under and take the back, which gives me a great position. But sometimes when I try to put him down going forward, he's blocking me. So I have to go backward. While I'm pulling him, I sweep his leg with the arch of my foot. I'm making my exit to lower him into my strike, but he keeps his underhooks in. Then I can duck under, take his back, and when I try to sweep him going forward, he's doing a great job at blocking me. Then when I cannot go forward, I'm going backward, I'm pulling him into me and sweep his leg with the arch of my foot. I'm trying to create space. My opponent blocked me with the underhook. I duck under, take his back. My opponent blocked my knees with his hands. I pull him into my sweep using the arch of my foot. Sometimes I'm in the over-under clinch position and I try to break away from my opponent. But when I do, he keeps his underhooks in. Then it allows me to duck under, take his back. But when I take his back, sometimes it's very hard to put him down. He's got a very good balance. That's when I decide to switch to striking. Always use the element of surprise. I take an angle to lower him into my strike. It doesn't work because he's got the underhook. I duck under, take his back. But when I try to put him down, he's got a very good balance. He defended very well. That's when I decide to switch to striking. I hit him on the temple. Then when he faced me straight to my hook. Straight, high kick, straight hook, and I finish with a kick. This is a predetermined power striking combos. It is very important that you have one, so you don't think, you just automatically do it. I take my opponent's back, then I throw a hook on his temple that lower him into my left hook and to my predetermined striking combo exit. Always finish with the kick to keep a safe distance. Clinch over-under position is one of the most common in the fight game. It is imperative for you to master this position to increase your odds of success in a fight. When I'm in the over-under clinch position, this is roughly a position that is equally advantageous for myself and for my opponent. If I want to take advantage of it, a good way is to shrug my shoulder, go down, and put my lead shoulder in his thorax. Then I can have enough space to reach back with my thumb in and control his underhook. So that gives me an edge. Then I have the opportunity to do a lot of things from there. So this is a pretty equal position To take advantage of it, I have to kill his underhook. The way I'm doing it is I shrug my shoulder and I put the point of it in his sternum. Then I have enough space that I can create to reach back with my thumb and kill his underhook. Punch with my lead shoulder to create a space. Pin it in my opponent's sternum. Reach back for my opponent's wrist with my thumb in to control his arm. From the over-under clinch position, one of the great way to control this position is by killing the underhook of my opponent. To do so, I need to position myself in the right way. This position is roughly 50-50. But to take control of it and getting the edge, what I do is I shrug my shoulder and put the point of my lead shoulder in his sternum. Then it gives me enough space that I can reach out with my thumb in and take control of his arm. Once that is done, I'm having a lot of option here. One of the good way I like to exit with a strike is using an elbow from there. So I create space by shrugging my shoulder, take my head outside of the center line, and hit him on the temple. Punch my shoulder to create a space, kill my opponent's underhook, shrug, and throw my elbow. From the over-under clinch position, sometimes I'm using some striking to bait him in a position where I can trap him. And that's what I'm going to teach you right now. I'm in the over-under clinch position. I knee my opponent in his inner thigh to bait him to block the strike. Then I'm going to collect his wrist and trap his arm here. To free my lead arm, I'm going to turn my pinky up. I'm going to shrug my shoulder and go with a short spike elbow on his eyebrow. The goal here is not to knock him out, but to cause a maximum of damage. When I'm ready to release his arm because it's strapped, I'm going to follow up with a powerful elbow strike on his temple. Then that will lead him into my hook, cross, head kick, cross, hook, and I like to finish with the leg kick. I knee my opponent in his inner thigh, trap his arm, shrug my shoulder, throw my short elbow in his eyebrow, big elbow. Then I go with my predetermined striking combo exit. Each strike is made to lower my opponent into the next one. Sometime when I'm in the over-under clinch position, I'm doing a great job at killing my opponent's underhook by taking control of his arm. And sometime I don't want to disconnect from him. I want to take control of him even more. A good way is to use a technique we call the arm drag. Over-under position, put my shoulder in his sternum as I'm lowering my center of gravity. That allows me to take control of his arm. Now, when I go for an arm drag, a lot of people make the mistake of going to the elbow. This is very important that you try to go as high as you can, almost in his armpit. And when you pull, your head has to follow the direction in which you want to go with your opponent. So when I'm pulling, I'm stepping in with my outside foot and going forward with my hips. That is a very powerful move. Sometimes my opponent from there will try to run away. So he's stepping, I'm timing his step, and I put him down with the sweep of the arch of my foot. Shrug, pin my shoulder in his sternum, reach back. Go for an arm drag very high in his armpit. Then when I take his back, I time his footstep, and I sweep his leg with the arch of my foot and the power of my hips. So I'm doing a great job at killing his underhook. I'm dragging myself to the back. Then once I got his back, he doesn't move. I hook his leg, throw him to the floor. I shrug, pin my shoulder, control his arm drag, take his back, and with the momentum of my body going forward, I throw my opponent down with the control of his hips. When I'm in the over-under clinch position and I'm doing a great job at killing my opponent's underhook, I'm going for an arm drag, taking my opponent's back. Sometimes he's doing a great job as blocking my forward pressure. So when I can no longer go forward, I'm going backward to trip him down. Here, killing his underhook, arm drag. He's doing a great job at blocking me going forward. No problem. I'm simply gonna pull him backward and trip his leg as he's stepping back with the arch of my foot. Shrug, pin my shoulder in his sternum, reach for the arm, high arm drag under his armpit. When I take his back, he's blocking me. So I pull him into my sweep using the arch of my foot. When I'm in the over-under clinch position, sometimes I'm able to kill my opponent's underhook by controlling his arm. I arm drag and take my opponent's back. When I find myself in there, sometimes I realize that my opponent is too good. I can't put him down. Or sometimes I just simply want to keep the fight standing up and surprise him with a striking combo. What I'm about to show you is a predetermined power striking combos that is designed specifically for every strike to lure my opponent into the next one. It is very important that you have a striking combo in mind that is predetermined. So when a situation happens, you don't have to think. It just goes automatically, and it gives you a head start on your opponent. I will show you mine. It's made of a combination of punches and kicks. So I'm doing a great job at killing his underhook. I'm dragging myself to the back. And then I realize that I can't put him down. He's too good. And also maybe I just want to surprise him with a striking combo. The way I'm gonna do it is because his hand is down and he doesn't see me, the strike will come from outside of his field of vision. I'm gonna hit him right on the temple. That will lure him into my lead hook. That will lure him into my straight cross. Stepping kick, back to a power cross, hook, and then I always like to finish with a leg kick because my legs are the longest weapon I have. Shrug and pin my shoulder, control the arm to the arm drag. When I take his back, I release him with a big hook on the temple that lure him into my lead hook, and I go with my predetermined striking combo exit. From the over-under clinch position, when I'm able to kill my opponent underhook and get an arm drag, I can use that opportunity to attack a single leg. And from the single leg, the most high percentage move is always to go for the double leg. Because if you control both of your opponent's leg, there's no way you can stand up. From the over-under clinch position, I'm doing a great job of killing his underhook. When I arm drag, I go as high as possible, clear the way, get into a solid single leg. My legs are tight, I control him, and I'm in great balance. When it's time to finish him, the best way is to go for the other leg. If I control both of my opponent's leg, there's no way he can stand up. So I'm gonna look across from him and try to drive into that direction while I'm stepping and controlling both of his legs. Shrug and pin my shoulder in his sternum. Arm drag myself into a single leg position. I look across my opponent, drive and collect his other leg until he falls. From the over-under clinch position, when I'm doing a great job of killing his underhook, taking an arm drag and get into a good solid single leg position, sometimes it's impossible for me to finish with the double leg because my opponent blocks my elbow and also use a crossface and put a lot of weight on me. So when that happens, I can go with another technique called the chest pressure. Over under clinch position, take advantage of the position, clear the arm drag. Now I have a good solid base, knees tight. But when I try to go for a double leg, it's impossible because he blocks my elbow and he put an extreme amount of pressure this side. No problem. What I'm gonna do is I take a little step towards the inside and a big step behind my heel. And as I'm doing so in the same time of my second step, I'm doing a big pressure with my chest. That's why this technique is called chest pressure. Shrug and pin my shoulder in his sternum, reach for the arm drag myself into a single leg. When I go for the double, I feel a lot of resistance. I step across him with another step behind and I apply a big chest pressure. From the over-under clinch position, when I'm able to kill his underhook, I'm drag myself to a solid single leg. Sometimes when I go for a chest pressure, my opponent just let go the pressure of the chest pressure. When that happens, the chest pressure will no longer work. But it gives me the opportunity to go back to my favorite technique, which is the double leg takedown. Over under clinch position, put my shoulder in his sternum, kill his underhook, clear the way to good single leg position. When I try to go for the chest pressure, he just let go the pressure and it's impossible for me to finish. Then I can go back to my favorite technique, which is the double leg takedown. Shrug and pin my shoulder, reach for my opponent's arm drag into a single leg. Chest pressure doesn't work, so I look and I drive across my opponent while collecting his other leg. From the over-under clinch position, when I'm killing my opponent's underhook, one of my favorite techniques is to take him off balance by using the pressure of my underhook as I'm stepping back to bring his head down and lower him into my headlock. I'm doing a great job of killing his underhook. And now, a very important detail is here. It's happening right here. So pay attention of my underhook. I'm going very deep here as I'm stepping back. So all the pressure allows me now to put him down because of my underhook. Not necessarily because of this hand that will go to his head, But my underhook pressure is doing most of the job. When I'm there, my opponent, of course, wants to resist. He doesn't want to go down. So I have to switch my underhook to a overhook. And now to even put more pressure on him, because I want him on his knees on the floor, I'm going to sprawl. And when I sprawl, I don't sprawl in a linear way. I sprawl always towards the opposite direction of where his arm is. So I'm sprawling and stretching his arm. When I got him down, it's very important that I put all my weight on top of him and keep his head in my center line. I don't go on my knees like so. I put all the pressure on him. Shrug my shoulder to control my opponent's arm with my thumb in. I pull him with my underhook while pulling my elbow to my belly button. I cover the head and I sprawl while pulling his tricep, making sure his head is aligned with my center line. Sometimes when you're in the over-under clinch position and you're doing a great job at killing your opponent's underhook, a good way to exit with a striking combo is to lure your opponent into a front headlock. Of course, he's going to resist it, and that's when the technique comes into play. So I'm killing his underhook. Here, I'm going for a front headlock. Here, but he's so strong I can't get him there. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna switch my underhook and putting him around his head. It is very important now, when I get this position, all the pressure is applied on the top of his head. My forearm are glued to his trapezius, and the pressure is with the tip of my finger on top of his head. And I try to squeeze my elbows together to not allow him to escape. Once I'm there, I'm gonna do 2 knee strike. This is, of course, a predetermined striking combo exit that I have. It is important that you have one as well. I'm gonna show you mine. It's made of combos of knees and elbows. So I'm hitting with my knees. With my second knees, I'm keeping one hand on the top of his head, and I know he wants to exit. So I let him exit, but when he does, I welcome him with an elbow strike. I try to target his eyebrow. Right now, if you want, it's a good opportunity because the elbow strike could lower him into a lead hook, then to a straight cross. I'm walking him down with my predetermined striking combos that I have all the time. Shrug and pin my shoulder. Reach to control the arm. Then I pull him with my underhook. Tie clinch. Knees. I release him with an elbow, and then I go with my predetermined striking combo exit. Finishing always with a kick to keep the distance.